We are waiting for the arrival of the remains of Mayor Gertrude Shope from the home. You did see the validation taking place at the family home earlier on. But I am with the Premier of Gauteng and also the Deputy Convener or Co-Convener of the province, Mr. Panyaza Lesufi. Mr. Lesufi, just the essence of the memory of Mayor Gertrude Shope. What does her life mean to you, knowing that it's the end of an era? Adelaide Tambo is not here. Albertina Sisulu is not here. Now Mayor Gertrude Shope, a generation that brought back the ANC Women's League into the country, a generation that also pioneered that young women should not go on their cycles without the dignity of sanitary towels.
Good morning, and thank you so much for hosting us. Today is a very sad day, to be quite frank. It's an end of a crucial era of leaders of impeccable credentials. The leadership that they've just outlined, how I wish that ordinary South Africans can understand why we're here this morning. That even though the President has declared there's a Category 1 funeral, the honor goes beyond that. There's a woman, when women were few in the armed struggle, she was at the forefront. This is a woman, when women were few in the NEC, of the ANC, she was in the NEC. This is a woman that was a bridge from liberation movement to government. When men and women were called to go and establish this government in parliament, she was amongst those that were there. When negotiations started, she was amongst those that shaped and sharpened our position. The policy positions that we enjoy today, from non-racialism, non-sexism, democracy, and all the institutions that we had, from the Public Protector, Human Rights Commission, and many religious formations that we have. These are the ideas. These are the people that made it to be where we are. So today is indeed an end of a crucial era, but also as a signpost where all of us have to make allegiance to the commitment that they made, that betrayal is not an option, that we must defend this democracy, must defend this freedom, and the gains of this freedom must never be reversed, and we must not be apologetic about the transformation agenda, about the issue of the land, about the issue of economic emancipation, about the issue to protect our children so that they can live in a country that they can be proud. It's a country that defends them.
When you look at the ANC used to be that organization that other liberation movements and other countries looked upon for direction when it comes to policy, political direction. When you look at countries like Namibia, they've got a woman president. You go to Chama Pendutse in other countries, they are also looking at electing a woman into that particular position. Looking at the end of an era of this gallant generation of Mayor Gertrude Shope, Adelaide Tambo, and many more, what does this mean for your organization at a time where women are faced with an onslaught of gender-based violence, where women are ostracized in the workplace, they're not given senior positions in government and also in the private sector?
We remain the only institution across the world, if I'm not mistaken, that have elevated the rights and presence of women. We remain amongst the few institutions that have the representation of women across all institutions of government and the private sector. But the reality is, we must not reduce Mayor Gertrude Shope to be a leader of women. She's a leader of society. She's a global leader. And today when we come here, we just have to say thank you, Mama. Thank you, Mama. Thank you for the sacrifice, for the commitment, and thank you for everything that you've done for us to be who we are. And we want to assure you, betrayal is not an option. We'll do everything within our powers to ensure that we make you proud. So Salasi Ngeng to the end.
When are you taking action on those HODs and those audits that you were doing on them?
Let's honor Mam Gertrude Shope first. We still have time to discuss on these issues.
Thank you very much, Premier Panyaza Lesufi, the Premier of Gauteng province and also a leader of the ANC within the province of Gauteng, saying Mayor Gertrude Shope was not just a leader of women within the country and globally, she was a leader of South Africans. But as the remains of Mayor Gertrude Shope are being prepared to leave her family home, our colleague Natasha Piri is amongst those honoring the life and times of Mayor Gertrude Shope, interviewing and engaging with those who have come to pay their respects at the family home.